Hello everyone, so I got into a situation that is kind of funny. My guild, my alliance just transferred from the server that I was playing with, and I do plan to play the Hyper Boost, so I don't want to transfer right now. I want to just, play the Hyper Boost. So I got left behind, but I got left behind holding the guild. So right now I'm playing basically by myself in the in the entire server again. So I decided to have a little bit of fun since I cannot solo the tier 2 bosses yet. I decided to try to check how the tier bosses 1 were doing. So I ended up having some problems with some bosses that I didn't think before, so that was interesting. But the thing that I got the most was nostalgia from like the few bosses open battles that we would have like Zerg versus Zergs. I actually miss that a lot. I hope they add it back for the tier 3 because with the alliances changing from 4 to 2 guilds, I actually think it would be less of a Zergy dominant. And I remember the rush of going towards like a bunch of different open bosses at the same time. Like the clock would turn at the boss time, right? And you would have like 3 different open bosses at the same time. So it was always a rush to like go towards a bunch of different bosses and rotate between different bosses. It was very fun. Well, anyways, uh, the first boss I did was Adidus. On those bosses, what I was trying to do was either get like some specific weapon for the lithography or the Amitoys for the collections. The Amitoys were my main target, so that's why I don't play Adentus on this, because I already had the Amitoy, and why I don't play a few other bosses, because I already had the mount, so I was just looking for the Amitoys. Oh, Adidus was pretty easy. I remember dying Adidus, and Nirma was a pain in the ass because getting back to ZvZ was really, really annoying. But yeah, Adidus, the only thing that you gotta be careful is the small wasp that he summons, right? And you gotta leave them alive so they wake you up so you don't die to the one shot that he does. But if you stay in the middle part, you don't die anyway, so it's pretty simple. He didn't drop anything, but he actually dropped a Bloodlust belt, so a little bit of nostalgia here. If you were on tier 1, you remember the belt of Bloodlust was worth a lot. Was one of the best belts in tier 1. The second boss that I did, if I'm not mistaken, was I tried to do Ayum, the big tree guy, and I figure out I thought he was gonna be easy, but turns out the cage mechanic doesn't have a really easy timer. Like it's not easy to predict it, and it does one shot you. And if you don't break it quickly, the island resets, so you lose the fight anyways. And the worst part is I even try to freeze myself, petrify myself, and the cage still hits me. So what's the point of petrification anyways for self petrification? But I figured out I can do damage with some other external skills or long-term skills, but it was really hard to get the timing now, so I just kinda gave up on it. That was the first boss that made me realize, maybe I cannot solo all the tier 1 bosses. Maybe if I swap for a specific class combination, I think I can do it, or if I just keep trying with the timing for the cage and the AoE with meteors or something, but that was too much of my time. So another boss that I tried to kill right after was Juno, which we used from the Sanctuary, right? The Sanctum. This was a really fun gimmick that I kind of missed on tier 2, but I understand why it was not there, because it was kind of annoying tier 1, because it was a weekly thing that you had to farm, and you could only go there when it's raining, so that was a pretty big deal, and it's gonna be back on tier 1, so I'm very interested to see how that's gonna play. But the doors for the place that this boss spawned were only open when it was raining, and we didn't have the teleports for the peace bosses before. So it was very limited, and Junobot was very under control of the top guilds, because you could turn Eclipse Zone to deny players from like staying inside of the dungeon. You could rank to open the dungeon, the dungeon doors for your guild. So that was very fun. I think Junobot was the only place that had like very heavy impact by the rank skills, the top rank skills. So that was a very unique thing. I also had forgotten that the Genobot has the questions, but it's pretty fun to answer the questions. Thankfully, I got both of them right. He didn't drop anything. I'm gonna be forward with all of you. They none of the bosses dropped anything, But I did do Cornelius twice, which is cool. And he gave me the shield, so I needed that for the lithography, so that was nice. He doesn't have any secret. He was just one of the bosses that no one killed after like tier 1 advanced a little bit, so that's why I wanted to prioritizing, because I think the same is gonna happen again. Even though, just like Mordecai, which is the first boss, the lowest level boss, field boss that we have, I also think maybe with the new weapons that we already got shown from the field bosses, the Berserk field bosses, which is gonna be upgraded gear, right? Tier 3 gear. Maybe they're gonna be relevant. Who knows? We need more information for that. But yeah, so I killed those two. I skipped a bunch of other ones that I wanted to play, but didn't have a reason why to play it. Let's see. I tried to do Minazerok, and I didn't remember that his skills stole our stamina and our mana, though that was very interesting. But yeah, I got stuck on this part where he just stuns you, summons a ghost on top of you, and if no one sees that ghost, you just die, so you're kind of stuck there. So I had to give up on Minazerok as well. But the rest of the bosses were pretty direct, pretty straightforward. Uh, I remember a lot of them. Actually, I remember all of them. And every time I was doing this, I was always thinking, damn, I miss the ZvZ in the open field around those bosses. I miss playing the ZvZ on those bosses. Talos is really fun because I kept remembering his staff. Talos' staff gave the player invulnerability for a second when he got low health, if I'm not mistaken. So I remember it was like one of the best PvP staffs before Bellinger got like more available for people. I remember I have a friend that actually paid over 10,000 Lucent on that Talos staff. So it's really fun to remember all those old things. Yeah, that was mostly about it. Oh yeah, there's Malakar as well. Malakar was a beast. If you ever played Crossbow on tier 1, or any AoE class, but mostly Crossbow for the spears, right? Because we didn't have spears. The spinning on the Malakar was such a fiesta. I think SNS Expo would like have such a good time with the current mechanics of the game if Malakar was open field again on tier 3. Yeah, that's about it. I think I covered most of the things I remember. It was just a funny thing to do, a very random video. Thank you for watching. I hope we get to see more of the tier 1 bosses revamped in the Berserk mode in open field in tier 3, and that's about it. See ya.